If you've ever wondered how people create such complex scenes fairly simply, it's because they have one trick that you're probably not using, and that is reusing assets. And Blender has made that really simple with the addition of the asset library. However, many of us keep avoiding the use of the asset library, but all it takes is starting it once and knowing the basics to help improve your workflow forever. So let's figure out how we can use the asset library to our advantage. The first thing that you have to do is define where you're going to be storing all your assets. So you can go to your edit, preferences, and on the side panel, you have to go all the way down to file paths. Under file paths, you'll have this asset libraries drop down present, and you can choose different folders that you want to store your assets in. If you want to create a new folder, you can just press this plus button and select it and select the folder. So let's say I want this particular folder to be my asset folder. I can just click that and now it becomes its own asset library. Now, since I already have this, I can press that minus button and this is stored as a file path for where all my assets are present. Now, this folder can have multiple subfolders. As you saw, we do have subfolders present, and any Blender file that's present within any of these subfolders will also be considered while the assets are searched for. So once you have that set, to actually open the asset library, you can bring your cursor to the junction of these two windows, click and drag to create a new window, and then change it to the asset browser over here. Over here, you can switch to exactly which folder you want, and all of the different directories that you select will be present listed over here. And remember, we just chose motion graphics, so we can select that and it'll search for every blend file that has some sort of asset marked, and it'll appear over here. Then you can always go ahead and just take an asset and drag and drop it onto your objects, and they will be applied onto your objects. Now, how do we mark different assets? So that's the next step that we're going to go to. In our last video, we created 3 sci-fi materials. That was Sci-Fi Material 1, 2, and 3. To actually convert these materials into assets, all you have to do is go to the material on the material tab, right click on the name of the material and click mark asset, and that way it becomes an asset. Then you can select the next object which has the other materials applied, right click, mark as asset. And once you mark all of these materials as assets, make sure that you press Ctrl S to save it, and they will appear in the asset library. But remember that this file has to be saved within one of the subdirectories that were present in the directory that you chose. So in my case, this blend file has to be saved within a subdirectory of motion graphics. And since it's set like that, I have all 3 of these materials present over here. But the best part about the asset library is that it does not have to work only for materials. It can work for different node trees as well. In a previous video, we actually created this particular Nebula Shader that you can apply to either your background environments or for any object as well. And we stored that in a single shader that we saved over here. If you want to use this as an asset, again, you can't use the entire material anymore because the material would essentially consist of this material output as well. If you want to use only the node, you can select the node and tap N to bring out this panel. If it's not present, you can tap N to bring it out and then go to the node tab, and under the properties, you have this particular section and you can right click and click mark as an asset, and that way this particular node tree becomes an asset. And with that asset, make sure that this blend file is stored within the same path and press Ctrl S to save it, after which over here, if you were to just refresh it, the node tree should appear. Now the node tree was called Nebula Shader, so it is present over here. To actually use it, you can just click and drag to create a new window, change this to the shader editor, and now let's say we were creating some material, but we want to just add in the material shader. So let's move this out, remove all of the other materials that are selected to it, and we can simply take this Nebula Shader, drag and drop it into this material, and now we can plug it into the surface, and you have the material present right there. Similarly, you could have gone to the world, dragged and dropped the Nebula Shader, and plugged the shader into the surface of the world output. So those are ways in which you can easily incorporate different node trees as well, and they don't work only for shaders. Let's say you had a geometry node tree. So in this tutorial, I taught how you can create electric sparks to emit from whichever object you want. Of course, we had initially created the object in the geometry node tree itself, so I just changed that from the object that we had to the group input and plugged that in. So now it works for whichever object you apply this geometry node modifier on. So once you have that, make sure that you give the geometry node tree a specific name, and once you choose the right name, right click and click mark as asset. Once you've marked this as an asset, again in your scene, let's say you created a new object and you want to apply that same node tree over there. Over here, you should be able to find that node tree, and if you have way too many assets, you can always search for electric arc generator because that's what you saved the name as. So once you select it, you can drag and drop it onto that particular object, and now you have electric arcs emitting from this particular object that animates along with the animation. That's just an easy way by which you can actually add in a geometry node tree as well, and it works almost seamlessly. You can always make changes according to your new model and everything, and it's fairly simple to do. The next thing that you can actually do are objects, but that's fairly straightforward. You can always just select select the object, go to the object properties, and then right click on the name and choose mark as asset. You can always do that from up here as well. You can just right click and click mark as asset and it should work as well. However, it's more interesting to know what you can do with collections. So let's say in this particular scene, I have this portal that I created that consists of a plane that has this portal material as well as this sci-fi ring. If I want this to just become an object or an instance that I can put into whatever scene I want, I can actually select both of these and place them into a new collection by tapping M, clicking new collection and calling this portal and then clicking OK. And now this portal itself, I can right click and choose mark as asset. Now I have a portal asset, and of course make sure that this new blend file or old blend file is present within the motion graphics directory, and then make sure that after you save it as an asset, you press Ctrl S to save it. Then you can go back here, remove the filter and just refresh, and when you refresh, you should now have the portal collection which you can drag and drop into your scene. So that way I now incorporated the portal into this particular scene, and you can just select the entire collection and move it around, because when you bring them in, they come in with an empty that acts as a controller. Now the next most important part about using these assets is actually organizing them in an appropriate manner. So you have all of these different assets present. You can always filter based on what type of asset you want. If you want it to be maybe a type of world shader or just a different object or things like that, you can select exactly which type of assets you're searching for, and then that will just speed up your searches. But it's always best to create subdirectories over here so that you can search for them really fast. So let's say you create a new subcatalog and you can change the name to whatever you want. So maybe I'll create one subcatalog for all objects in my scene. Then I can create this plus to create another type of catalog. So maybe I'll call this materials and another one for node trees. So now I have one for materials, one for node trees, and one for objects. Under the materials as well, you can create even more subcategories. So under materials, I can create maybe sci-fi materials. Then I can press this plus button next to the materials to create another category underneath materials, which I'll call abstract, and maybe one more for realistic. Similarly, for node trees, I could create different versions. Same thing for objects. Now, wherever I have the original materials, I can actually assign those within these subdirectories. So let's say here, these materials, I did mark them as assets, but I'd have to put them into the right directory so that it's easier for me to search for them later on. For that, I'll first change to the asset browser. Let's go to the motion graphics folder, and now I have these three sci-fi materials. Make sure that after you create these subdirectories, you press Ctrl S and save the blend file so that all of these changes are saved. And once you save it, all of these are now present as subdirectories. So now if I go to wherever I have these sci-fi materials, I can see that under my motion graphics catalogs, I do have materials, node trees, and objects. Under materials, I have abstract, realistic, and sci-fi. Currently, all of these materials are present in the unassigned folder. So let's take these three sci-fi materials and just click and drag them into the sci-fi materials. And that way, under sci-fi, these three materials are present. Now you can't do this change for assets that are not present within the original file of the asset. So currently we are in the blend file where we created these assets, so I'm able to change these particular assets. If I was to try and change a different asset into one of these, so let's say the electric arc generator, I need to change into the node trees. If I take it and click and drag it into the node tree, it says only assets from this current file can be moved between catalogs. So I would have to go to the file in which I have the node tree present, then switch over to the asset browser, go to motion graphics, and make sure that you reopen this file because you can't refresh this section if it was open while you were creating these subcategories. So just reopen this folder, switch over to the asset browser, and now under your motion graphics directory, you have the node trees and objects present. Go to unassigned, go to your electric arc generator and plug that into your node trees. That way, the next time I open up a new Blender file, because refreshing it doesn't really incorporate the new changes, you have to just reopen it. And now under your sci-fi materials, I have these three materials. Under my node trees, I still don't see that node tree, and that's because after I moved it into the node tree, I haven't actually saved the file. So I have to press Ctrl S and only then will it reflect the changes. So now if I open my asset browser tutorial again, under my node trees, I will find electric arc generator, which I can apply to whatever object I have. Apart from that, the last thing that I think is very important are these tags. You can actually add in tags for different assets. So let's say we come to the original electric arc generator. I tap N after selecting this. You can give it some sub details if necessary, but the main thing are the tags. You can add in new tags and that'll show up if you actually search for it. If I add in a new tag that I call sci-fi and then I add in another one called electricity, or since electricity is already in the name, I'll use something else like plasma. That way, if I was to search for sci-fi or plasma, this electric arc generator will show up. Let's just save this, open up a new Blender file, and now if I go to the asset browser and I simply search for sci-fi, electric arc generator appears. If I was to start searching for plasma as well, electric arc generator will still appear. So that's something that's really useful, and with that, I think you'll be able to categorize everything within the correct directories and have all of the sub genres created as well, so that you can quickly drag and drop things into your scenes and create really complex looking renders really fast. I hope this one taught you something that you might have not known before, and I really hope it helps improve your workflow when you work with Blender. Until my next video comes out tomorrow, thank you so much for watching. Keep creating and stay creative.